Hey there, I'm Elizabeth Henson. Welcome to the Messy Success Podcast, where I'm helping creative dreamers and overachievers tackle business and life. After 6 years of being my own boss, I finally unraveled a tiny bit of what it takes to survive in this amazing world of being an overly creative entrepreneur. I'm your business bestie, here to help you with all those big ideas and to normalize some of the day-to-day struggles that we all share. My mission is simple. I want more women to make a living doing what they love and to feel good about themselves in the process. The best way to start? We can't do it alone. So welcome. I hope you'll hang out with me here where it's totally okay to be messy. Hey, you guys, and welcome to episode 6. Today, we're going to be talking about breaking the rules to grow your business. I love this topic so much. So before we jump in, there's one thing that I wanted to tell any of my local Hampton Roads people, my local Hampton Roads community. You guys know I'm located in Virginia Beach, but I have friends all over from Hampton to Suffolk to Chesapeake, all the places, right? The 7 cities. So I have started what I'm calling a creative network in Hampton Roads. So if you are local, I would love to tell you all about this. You can actually check it out on my website at elizabethhensonphotos.com/creative network. And check it out and join us. We already have 5 members and we are diving in and getting started. And I just can't wait for us to get involved in the community and do some really cool things locally. All right. So I hope you'll head over there and check that out. But let's dive in and talk about breaking the rules in business. Okay. So when I first started, booking clients, using my photography skills to attempt to make money, I had no idea what I was doing. And I was really just diving in, trying things out. So much of my business is built on trial and error. Now, of course, I had an amazing foundation because, as I mentioned in previous episodes, I followed along with my wedding photographer, Amanda Hedgepeth, who I've mentioned before. And she mentored me from the very beginning. I remember messaging her saying, oh my gosh, I have this DSLR camera. What do I do with it? And she, of course, gave me some great advice, told me what book to go get, who to follow to get inspiration. And I really kind of watched her grow her business from scratch. And that paved the way for me to know that, hey, I can do this. Like seeing somebody else do it gave me that inspiration. And, she would help me here and there with questions. But for the most part, I was really dancing to the beat of my own drum, just slowly building my little empire, working completely for free in the beginning and just telling people, hey, if you like the results, you can totally make a donation to my next lens. And that's how I built my business, just little by little. And I never really followed any rules in the beginning. I didn't know there were rules or any of that, right? But something I noticed as I got more experienced and started paying more attention to everybody else in the industry and what they were doing is I started feeling this weird pressure to do things a certain way or to be in a certain price point, because Sally, who started when I did, was already more expensive than me, and that would make me feel weird. Or, Susie, that started way after me or way before me, was even less expensive. And you start paying more attention, and it actually can really cloud up your thoughts and your intentions when you start paying too much attention to what other people are doing. And that's what I was doing. I was kind of paying attention to other people, just getting really confused, really muddled. And I knew I wanted to start growing the educational side of my business. So, photography is wonderful. But when I quit teaching art, I knew that I had to somehow incorporate education and community into my business for me to really thrive as a human, right? For me to really do the things that make me feel fulfilled. I love working with my clients. I love taking pictures, creating beautiful art, but I know that I have to help other women. It's this calling that is so far beyond me that I just knew that had to be part of my business. So quickly after I went full time, I launched my little kind of educational platform. I called it Creatives Live Happy. My newsletter is still called Creatives Live Happy. And, I was going to help teach other creative entrepreneurs. And I really didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have an Amanda this time around to show me the ropes or to kind of follow in her footsteps. And so I was just winging it, and I was kind of reading up on it and, I'm talking to 2 different audiences, so I need 2 different platforms. I invested in a website for Creatives Live Happy. I started an Instagram and then invested in somebody to help me with that Instagram. And I was not seeing the results that I wanted. And I kind of struggled with that for about a year of going back and forth, working in my photography stuff and then working on my coaching stuff, and kind of having these little mini identity crises along the way, because I'm a wedding photographer, but I'm also trying to market myself to creative entrepreneurs. So I finally, right when I was about to dive in and start building Creatives Live Happy even more, I had found some clarity on, how to speak around it and how to talk about it and what I can offer. And I remember sitting at my desk to write down an email sequence. This was about a year ago. And I just felt so broken. I just could not do it. And for some reason, that's when I realized, Liz, you're working way too hard in 2 different areas. So you've got this pile of work at your right hand, which is your coaching stuff. And then this pile of work in your left hand, which is your photography stuff. And you just can't work in both simultaneously. And it was such a huge meltdown for me, but also such a huge turning point where I said, you know what? I'm done thinking that I have to do this the way that other people do it. I'm done trying to separate these 2 pots. I am multi-passionate. It is who I am as a person. And I'm going to start doing everything in the same place. Everything in the same website, everything from the same social platforms. I'm done. Because it wasn't fair. It wasn't fair that my Creatives Live Happy audience, had grown a little bit, especially because I invested in my social media manager to help me. And they were not getting the fun Insta stories that my photography Instagram platform was getting, because I can't show up in both. I just couldn't do it. But I wanted to show up totally wholeheartedly in one place. So I finally put all of that extra stuff on the shelf and decided that I was just going to be who I am. And, my brides would either be on board or they wouldn't. And if it was confusing that I was also coaching other entrepreneurs, or they didn't find that attractive, that I had to look in the mirror and be okay with that. And I want to build community, and I want to start masterminds. And I just sort of by default ended up finding so much clarity by simply saying, I'm going to do this my way, and it's either going to work or it's not going to work. But at least I will be able to say that I gave it 110% effort in doing it the way that I want to do it. And what happened was I actually booked more brides coming to me saying, I think it's so cool what you do for the community. I think it's so cool that you are helping other people, that you're comfortable shining the light on other photographers. And I slowly started getting more revenue from my coaching side of my business. So I launched the Find Your Five Mastermind program, which was amazing. And that really proved to myself that I can make money doing some of these online programs that I'm so excited about. And I just stopped feeling like I had to do things a certain way. I stopped feeling like I have to have the perfect email sequence. I have to have the perfect email list. I have to have the perfect brand voice, and I have to have the perfect ideal client, because we can have more than one ideal client, more than one person that we're talking to online. Because I think the way that people are nowadays is they're investing in people as a whole, right? Like, of course, we follow some shops like Target or these little boutiques, but it's even more fun when these little small businesses are showing a little bit of who they are behind the scenes. And I think that's where a lot of people are making those connections, is when they feel like they can relate to someone. Because when we show up totally as who we are, people are going to jump on board so much easier, because they can feel that realness, and that we're not afraid of fear, or we're not afraid of failure, and that breaking the rules really just means that we're doing things the way that we want to do them and that we feel called to do them. And for me, it was a way that I can serve other people, and a way that I can lift other women up and not feel like I was just this thing. Because people were not going to my Creatives Live Happy website and booking me for anything. They were actually more people going to my Elizabeth Henson Photos website and booking me for mentoring from there. And I knew there was no way I could blog from both platforms. Are you kidding? That wasn't going to happen. And to write all that content on both platforms. So I finally, took 2 steps back by shelving all that work I had done, but I was able to take 10 steps forward in my momentum by being able to really dive into my people and my content in a whole nother way. And a year later, launching this podcast is just another way that I can connect with all of you creatives out there. And the best business advice is to be yourself. And something that always makes my heart feel heavy when I'm doing a mentoring session, or when I'm working with a creative that's still in that kind of scared stage, is when they say, well, so-and-so told me I should do it this way. Or so-and-so said, if I do X, then I'll get Y and Z. And I simply try not to teach that way. I really feel like the magic is simply in showing up, right? Like if we show up wholeheartedly with our guard down on a regular basis, that is actually more powerful than showing up with perfect visuals and perfect fonts and perfect presentation. Now, having both, okay, that's great. You're an enigma, you're a unicorn, but most of us are not both. So I err on the side of just showing up. I just show up and I say, hey, I'm who I am. I'm a little messy. I don't have spreadsheets. I don't color code things. Sometimes I feel like I don't fit in this Instagram world of perfection, but I'm who I am, and I'm here. And I'm here to serve you and talk to you and listen to you. I want to hear you. I want to hear what you want to do, what you want to be, your big ideas, and talk business. It gives me life, right? So another thing that we fear when it comes to following the rules is that people are passing judgment, right? We feel like we have to do things a certain way or fit into a certain Instagram mold because people are going to judge us. People are going to think something. But really, people are going to judge us no matter what, right? And we have a purpose on this world, on this planet, before anybody had those opinions. So it's really irrelevant. We're never going to make everybody happy. There's always going to be the haters and the naysayers. And luckily, I haven't had too much of that. I just show up. I show up and I tell people I'm not perfect, but I am here and I'm excited, right? But the best thing that we can do is show up and tell people that we're on a journey, whatever that is. For me, it was, hey, I got a camera. I'm really excited to see what I can do with it. Who would like to have their pictures taken? Who can I practice on? And hey, if you like the results, totally cool for you to make a donation, but no pressure, because I'm just learning. And that's what I did from the very beginning. And it grew into a business that's able to support my family. And it's not because I showed up perfect whatsoever. I mean, my pictures were pretty terrible back in the day, but it's because I showed up at all to tell people that I wanted to do this thing and I was really passionate about it. And I didn't know where it was going to go, but I really liked doing it. And that is powerful. When people know that you're doing something because you love it, it's so powerful. I got an email from a client today that said, you know what? You really went above and beyond. You made me feel so comfortable. It is so apparent that you care about your clients and their experience. That's not because I was perfect. I don't have a perfect onboarding system when my brides book. They get completely in the now, real-time emails from me, and that's important to me. So that's where I put my efforts, is to really showing up for them and answering those questions, however long it might take. And that feels good when I get those emails, those words of affirmation that, hey, you really care about your clients and I can see that. That's amazing. And that's just showing up. It's showing up, doing things the way that I want to do them when I know it could be done different or better in some people's opinions. So when it comes to the rules, I'm not saying we need to rebel. I'm just saying we need to show up as who we are and be comfortable in our own skin. And sometimes it takes us getting a little bit uncomfortable. It was so uncomfortable when I was going through that struggles with Creatives Live Happy. I felt like everybody was judging me. I felt like everybody was wondering, what the heck is she doing? What does that even mean? People weren't even pronouncing it right. Creatives Lives Happy. So I was like, okay, I'm done. But then, I invested in more education from multi-passionate entrepreneurs. And I started to see that there are multi-passionate women out there that are doing it their way and seeing great success. And I decided to jump on that, to just be who I am, put my crazy ideas out into the world, my Find Your Five Mastermind program, this new membership that I'm doing locally, and to also serve my wedding clients. And it's so great. And I'm so incredibly happy that I decided to put the rules away and to follow my gut and my intuition when it came to that. Anyway, I'm not just here today to share my success story because, good gosh, it's been a mess along the way and I'm still learning, right? But I hope that when somebody is teaching you and they're saying that you need to do it this way to get this result, I hope that you'll take that information and know that you are also meant to do things your way, to do things a way that makes you feel comfortable and excited to do the work that you're doing. If it ever feels like you're not excited, if you're ever hesitating to post something because you're like, something's off, this doesn't feel right, this doesn't feel like me, like when I sat down to write that email sequence and realized it wasn't right, listen to that voice. Ask a friend, brainstorm with a friend, say, hey, I want to put this thing out, but something's not right. And if that's a good business BFF, like we talked about in episode 2, they'll have no problem saying, that probably feels weird because that doesn't sound like you. And while that may work for Susie over there, this isn't the way that you've always done things. And it's cool to try new things, but make sure that they feel right. Make sure that your heart is on fire and you can't even stop yourself from telling the world about it. If it feels forced, then it might not be the right thing. It shouldn't feel forced. It should flow easily. When I, log in to do these podcasts, it flows naturally because I'm so excited to talk to you guys. That was cheesy. Anyways, all right. Thank you guys for being here today. And I'm excited to hear your thoughts about breaking the rules. And like I said, if you're local to Hampton Roads, go check out our new membership at elizabethhensonphotos.com/creative network. If you're not local, I'm equally excited that you're here. So go check out the show notes. Hang out with us in the Messy Squad, elizabethhensonphotos.com/podcast. And make sure you guys tune in next week for episode 7, where I'll be talking to my sister-in-law, Rachel from Rachel Bakes, because she just quit her day job and took the leap to go full-time. This is my husband's sister. She started baking in our house when she lived with us. Oh my goodness. It's going to be a really great episode. So I can't wait to see you there next Thursday. All right. Bye, guys.